This is, as almost everybody knows by now, the Subaru BRZ. It has been praised by many for its superb handling, light curb weight, and connected driving feel. However, one major criticism of the BRZ is that it doesn't make enough horsepower, which is right at 200 from the factory, and it doesn't seem to hit that peak power until high up in the rev range. The owner of this BRZ decided to fix this problem by adding a turbo, along with some other modifications. In fact, I'd say that he built himself a BRZ STI. Actually, I'd go as far to say that he went beyond BRZ STI. This thing is driven daily, but was built for the track. It's been force-fed by P-Tuning's Stage 1 turbo kit, which promises 300 rear-wheel horsepower at 6 pounds of boost. It uses a front-mount intercooler like almost every other BRZ turbo setup, but uses different turbo placement to avoid overheating problems that many BRZ turbo kits are prone to. As you've probably already noticed, it wears a set of legendary Volt TE37 wheels and has a staggered and fattened tire setup. It has a front lip, a cosmetic rear diffuser, and aftermarket taillights that make some North Carolina locals ask, "Is that new Lamborghini Aventador?" It has been lowered by D2 coilovers and has an upgraded front sway bar. It also has a 3-inch Borla exhaust made from the remains of the owner's previous car, an Evo 10. It's very loud, obviously too loud for my microphone. The owner is now contemplating installing a water meth injection system because I guess 300 wheel in a car that weighs less than 3,000 pounds isn't enough? The handling is very good. The lowered and stiffened suspension combined with the wide summer tires and sub 3,000 pound curb weight really makes it just stick to the road. And the seats, while stock, do a very good job at keeping you firmly in place. However, because the suspension is so aggressively stiffened, hitting any kind of bump or imperfection in the road halfway through a corner gets pretty scary as the car violently bounces over them. The power is good. Once under boost, this thing really takes off. The turbo spools pretty quickly, and power just keeps building and building until it hits redline. It makes shifting kind of a sad situation, although when rolling through the gears, the turbo holds boost surprisingly well between shifts. The steering feel is very direct, has good weight, and is very touchy. It takes some getting used to on the street, but would ultimately be ideal for the track. The brakes on a stock FRS or BRZ work well considering the car's power and suspension setup, but given the Garrett GT 3076 turbo and the heavily modified suspension, the weak stock brakes stick out like a sore thumb and don't have the bite that a car of this caliber needs. The shifter has a notchy feel and a decent throw distance, but has recently developed the common and expensive to fix 4th gear grind. The aftermarket clutch is significantly heavier than stock, and it engages very quickly. I think the BRZ needed the heavier clutch. It feels nicely weighted now, whereas before it was too light to be taken seriously. To put it simply, this car was built for the track. It is still enjoyable on the road, but the rigid suspension cries out for a smooth surface over every bump. The loud exhaust drones on the highway, the steering feel is darty, and the clutch engages very quickly, making it easier to stall. None of that really matters though, because the moral of this story is that every BRZ and FRS owner should turbo their car. Yes, it's expensive, and most kits probably void the factory warranty, but it's hard to think about those downsides when tearing through back roads.